Looking for a fun way to boost your English? Quick chats, easy tips, and a whole lot of poppin' energy, all in one place. This is Podcast Popcorn. Let's pop into it and make learning fun.
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine just stepping off a plane right into Bangkok. The sounds, the sights, that amazing energy.
Yeah, it's incredible, but maybe a little daunting too.
Exactly. A bit intimidating, perhaps. But what if you felt, totally prepared, like you had the key phrases, the insider tips.
And you could navigate it all confidently, like a seasoned traveler, pretty much.
That's the feeling. And that confidence, especially for travel, is what we're diving into today.
Planning any trip, especially somewhere completely new like Bangkok, it can feel like a big puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the right pieces, the practical steps, and crucially the essential language, well, that puzzle turns into a really exciting adventure.
Absolutely. And, for anyone learning English, maybe around that A2 or B1 level, this is such a great way to build real-world skills.
For sure. Practical application.
So our deep dive today, it's based on this really handy guide. It's called Plan Your Bangkok Trip, Travel English Tips.
Sounds useful.
Yeah. And our mission really is to pull out the most important bits, the key knowledge, and the specific English you'll need. The goal is to make your planning smoother, less stressful.
And actually enjoyable.
Right. Think of us as your guides through the guide, maybe. Sifting it all out for you.
Giving you the highlights, the need-to-know stuff.
And you're joining us for this deep dive right here on Podcast Popcorn. So we'll walk you through the main things. Booking flights, finding a place to stay.
Getting around the city, which is an adventure in itself.
Oh, yeah. And even, understanding a bit about the culture, all while picking up that practical English.
Okay, so where does the guide suggest we start? It kicks off with a big question. Why Bangkok?
Yeah, it calls it a must-visit destination. And it paints this picture of, incredible contrast.
How so?
Well, you've got these massive modern skyscrapers piercing the skyline, but then right next door, practically, you find these ancient, incredibly beautiful temples.
Ah, that mix of old and new.
Exactly. And the quiet, sort of sacred feeling of the temples mixed with this just buzzing street life. It's everything happening at once.
And the guide mentions specific examples, right, to make it more concrete.
It does. It talks about the Grand Palace and, the historical, spiritual heart of the city.
Essential place to see.
Definitely. And then contrast that with something like the Chatuchak weekend market. Just sheer scale and energy.
Thousands of stalls, right? That place is huge.
Unbelievably big. So it's that blend that the guide says is so captivating.
Makes sense. And the point here for you listening isn't just knowing about these places.
No, it's about having the actual tools, the travel tips, and the key English to navigate it all yourself, like a pro, as the guide says.
Okay, step one then, according to the source.
Booking your flight, that's usually the first big thing you nail down.
Right, the logistics and getting the terms right is pretty important here.
Yeah, so obviously you need to book a flight, make the reservation.
Simple enough.
Then you've got the choice between a one-way ticket.
If you're not planning to fly back from Bangkok, maybe.
Exactly. Or, more commonly, a round-trip ticket, which covers you getting there and coming back.
Got it. And what about stops?
Ah, yeah, key term, layover. That's a stop you make in another city between flights.
Okay, so you might fly from, say, London to Dubai, then Dubai to Bangkok.
Yeah.
That stop in Dubai is the layover.
Precisely. Knowing if you have one and for how long is vital. The alternative is a direct flight, straight there, no stops.
Much simpler if you can get one.
Definitely easier. So knowing these terms helps you ask the right questions. The guide gives some really simple, useful phrases.
Like what?
Well, just straightforward. I'd like to book a flight to Bangkok.
Clear.
Or if you're checking details, is this a non-stop flight?
Good question to ask.
And the basic cost question. How much is a round-trip ticket? Direct, effective.
And the guide gives some practical tips too, beyond the phrases.
Oh, yeah. Really useful ones, like comparing prices. It mentions using sites or apps like Skyscanner or Google Flights.
Standard practice now, really. Helps find deals.
Totally. And it suggests booking a bit early, maybe 6 to 8 weeks out for potentially better prices.
A good rule of thumb.
And always double check those layover times. You don't want a mad dash or, worse, missing your connection.
Solid advice. Okay, flights sorted, hypothetically. What's next? Where are you going to sleep?
Accommodation, step 2. And Bangkok, wow, it has options for pretty much every budget and style.
That's what the guide says.
Yeah.
It highlights the variety. You've got your luxury hotels.
Right, the fancy ones.
Or you could go for a budget-friendly hostel, which is often more communal, shared rooms sometimes.
Good for meeting other travelers.
Definitely.
Right.
And then there's Airbnb, finding private rooms or apartments.
Lots of choice there, too. And when you arrive, the key word is check-in. That's the process of registering.
Mm-hmm. And understanding amenities is important, too. What are those exactly?
The guide explains them as the extra features, things like Wi-Fi, is there a pool, does the price include breakfast, stuff like that.
Okay, the extras that make you stay comfy.
Exactly. And if you've booked ahead, you'll need the word reservation. That's your confirmed booking.
Got it. So, useful phrases for this stage.
Again, pretty straightforward, but essential. If you walk in without booking, you might ask, do you have any rooms available?
Simple start.
If you have booked, you walk up and say, I have a reservation under, and then, obviously, your name.
Right. Crucial bit. Remember to put your name in there.
Yeah, don't say your name. And to check those amenities, does the room come with breakfast? Or maybe, does the hotel have Wi-Fi?
Simple questions, clear answers needed.
And the guide adds a really smart tip about location, location, location.
Ah, yes. Choosing the right neighborhood. What does it suggest?
It mentions a few popular ones. Sukhumvit, known for shopping. Nightlife, very lively.
Okay.
Salem, maybe a bit more business-focused during the day, but also great restaurants and bars.
Right.
And of course, Khao San Road, famous, especially among backpackers, for its bustling, intense street scene.
The classic backpacker hub.
Pretty much. And like flights, the advice is to book accommodation early if you're traveling during peak season. That's roughly November to February when the weather's best.
Good heads up.
Yeah.
Okay, travel booked, place to stay sorted. Now, what are you actually going to do there?
The fun part, creating your itinerary, making a plan so you make the most of your trip.
So an itinerary is just your plan, your schedule.
Yep, your list of what you want to do and see. And the general term for visiting interesting places is sightseeing.
Right. Does the guide differentiate between types of places?
It does, helpfully. It talks about the big tourist attractions, the famous places everyone goes to see.
Like the Grand Palace again?
Exactly. But it also mentions seeking out local spots, maybe smaller markets, neighborhood temples, places that give you a more authentic feel.
Getting off the beaten track a bit.
Kind of, yeah. Knowing the difference helps you balance your trip, and asking locals is great for finding both.
So, phrases for asking.
You could ask hotel staff or just someone friendly, what are the must-see places in Bangkok?
Good general question.
Or if you have a specific place in mind, how do I get to the Grand Palace? Practical for directions.
Essential.
And if you do want that more local vibe, is there a local market nearby? Simple questions can lead to great discoveries.
What about specific must-visit spots the guide recommends?
It lists a few big ones. Chatuchak Weekend Market, we mentioned, just plan a lot of time for that.
Definitely.
Arun, the Temple of Dawn, apparently stunning, especially around sunset, right on the river.
Oh, beautiful.
And experiencing the floating markets, it gives Dam known Sarawak as an example. It's a bit outside the city, but a really unique cultural thing to see.
Right, the boats selling goods.
Exactly. But a key tip here from the guide is don't try to cram too much in.
The danger of overscheduling.
Totally. It suggests maybe aiming for just 2 or 3 major activities per day. Otherwise, you just rush around stressed.
Good point. Leaves time for spontaneous things, too.
And it recommends using mapping apps like Google Maps to plot your routes between places. Saves getting lost, hopefully.
Very practical advice. Okay, so you're in Bangkok. You have a plan. How do you actually get from A to B?
Transportation, which the guide calls an adventure. And having been there, that feels about right.
Huh. Okay. What are the main ways to get around?
Well, there's the BTS Skytrain. It's elevated, runs above the traffic, great for central areas, avoids the jams.
Efficient.
Then you have the iconic tuk-tuks, those 3-wheeled open-air things. More of an experience, maybe not the fastest.
Part of the fun, though.
Absolutely. Then regular taxis, which are everywhere.
Metered.
Supposed to be, yeah. And ride-sharing apps like Grab, which is huge in Southeast Asia, often gives you a fixed price up front.
That can be reassuring. Good to know the cost beforehand.
Definitely. And the key word you'll need for almost all of these is fare. F-A-R-E. The cost of the ride.
Okay, fair. Got it. Useful phrases.
For taxis or especially tuk-tuks, you need to ask, how much is the fare to destination?
And crucially for tuk-tuks, ask before you get in, right? Negotiate.
Yes. The guide stresses that. Agree on the price first. For telling any driver where to go, can you take me to the suggest? Maybe have it written down or on your phone map.
Good idea.
And for the Skytrain, does this train go to Sukhumvit or whichever station you need? Just confirming you're on the right track.
Simple checks. What about the guide's overall tips for transport?
It reinforces using the BTS for speed in the busy parts. Definitely negotiate that tuk-tuk fare beforehand. It highlights Grab as reliable and transparent on pricing.
Scooters. People rent scooters, right?
They do, and the guide mentions it as an option, but with a big flashing warning sign. Bangkok traffic is intense, so extreme caution needed there.
Okay, noted. Caution advised. So beyond just getting around physically, there's navigating the culture.
Huge part of the experience. And the guide includes some really vital cultural tips and etiquette, puts a big emphasis on showing respect.
As you should anywhere, but especially important in Thailand. Key terms.
Well, temple, obviously. Referring to sacred places like Wat Pho, the example given. Showing respect is the main theme. Understanding local customs or traditions is key to being polite.
Makes sense.
And the guide explains the traditional Thai greeting, the way, the slight bow with hands pressed together.
Ah, yes. Very graceful.
Knowing about it is important, and the useful phrases here help you navigate these situations politely.
Like asking how to say hello.
Exactly. How do you say hello in Thai? The guide gives the answer, Sawasdi, pronounced Sawatdi. Good one to know.
Definitely. What about temples? Clothing is important there.
Right. So a common question is, what should I wear when visiting temples?
And the answer.
Cover your shoulders and knees, both men and women. It's about modesty and respect for the sacred space.
Good. Clear rule.
And just generally being considerate. Is it okay to take photos here? Always good to ask if you're unsure.
Smart. What about the big do's and don'ts?
Crucial stuff. Do dress modestly at temples, cover up shoulders and knees. Do take your shoes off before entering temples, and often people's homes, too.
Okay, shoes off. Got it. And the don'ts?
Important ones. Don't touch someone's head. It's considered the highest, most sacred part of the body.
Right. Avoid the head.
And don't point your feet at people, or especially at religious images like Buddha statues. Feet are considered the lowest, least clean part, so pointing them is very disrespectful.
Wow, okay. Head sacred, feet low. Good things to remember.
Just being aware of these few things shows respect and goes a really long way.
Absolutely. And the guide sort of wraps up by bringing it back to the language, right? Practicing the phrases.
Yeah, it really emphasizes the value of practicing these essential travel phrases. It even includes examples of mini practice dialogues.
Oh, that's useful. Especially for learners at that A2, B1 level, seeing it in context.
Totally. It shows how you'd actually use them. Like, I'd like to book a round trip ticket to Bangkok. That's for your flight booking scenario. Or at the hotel. I have a reservation under your name.
Yep, we covered that.
For getting around. Can you take me to the Grand Palace? And for culture questions, what should I wear when visiting temples?
So it shows the question and maybe a typical reply.
Exactly. It shows how these simple phrases fit into a real brief conversation, which is, the best way to get comfortable with them.
Builds that confidence before you even leave home.
Precisely. And the guide really encourages you to try speaking with locals. It emphasizes that most Thai people are super friendly and genuinely appreciate you making the effort, even if your Thai is non-existent or your English isn't perfect.
Mistakes are okay. They're part of learning.
Totally. And it wisely suggests having a translation app like Google Translate ready on your phone as a backup. Don't be afraid to use it or to stumble a bit. It's all part of the adventure.
That's really encouraging advice. Travel is about communication however you manage it.
Well said. And the guide even gives a little teaser for what comes next in learning travel English.
Oh yeah, what's that?
The next topic it mentions is how to order Thai food travel English in restaurants.
Ooh, now that sounds essential and delicious.
Doesn't it? Incredibly practical, builds right on this foundation of navigating the city.
Perfect next step.
So building on everything we've talked about today, here's maybe a final thought for you listening. Knowing the must-see spots from a guidebook is great, obviously, but how might actually using even just a few of these simple English phrases we've covered and being mindful of those cultural do's and don'ts, how might that really change your trip?
Yeah, how does it shift it from just ticking boxes on a sightseeing list
to genuinely connecting with the place, with the people, even in small ways?
It makes it less of a transaction, maybe. And more of a real experience, something more memorable, more enriching.
Exactly. Well, this has been our deep dive into planning your Bangkok adventure and boosting your travel English, all based on the guide, Plan Your Bangkok Trip, Travel English Tips.
You've been listening to Podcast Popcorn.
Please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you found this helpful. And definitely let us know in the comments what source, what topic, what title do you want us to dive into next time. We'd love to hear from you. Until then.
That's it for today's episode on Podcast Popcorn. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Got a topic you'd love us to cover? Leave your ideas in the comments. We're always listening, and your suggestion might be the star of our next episode. Until then, keep learning, stay confident, and see you soon.